Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Zeti here, and I'm super excited that we are hooking up again after a while. As we continue with our series on contraceptives, in case you're stopping by for the first time and you have not gone through the previous video, I'll strongly advise that you go and watch the previous video so that you can be at par on what we are discussing about. We had done an overview of contraceptives, and so today I am breaking down each and every contraceptive in bits so that you can be able to know which one suits who and which one is not supposed to be for you. All right, but otherwise you also need to sit down to have a sitting with your family planning specialist, your gynecologist, and have a method that will work for you in that. We're going to discuss about Depo Provera. Depo is a hormonal contraceptive, and it's a short-term contraceptive. It's not a permanent, it's a temporal contraceptive, and it is a medroxyprogesterone, which is progestin only. And we say progestin is a synthetic form of progesterone that looks more of testosterone than progesterone, and we will see that as we keep on discussing. All right, so it is a 3-monthly injection that is given either on the upper deltoid, on your upper arm, where also it can also be given on your glute, which is on your butt muscle. Okay, so consistency is key with Depo. You're supposed to at least every 3 months, if you're getting your injection from a family planning center, they'll give you either a card or they'll give you a return visit date where they will notify you when you're supposed to be getting your injection. All right, so Depo is prescribed in various conditions, and it has its own advantages and disadvantages. So conditions that Depo is prescribed in, other than just the normal family planning method, it favors people who have menstrual cramps, and it reduces the pain, and it also works for people who have heavy bleeding for your menses. It reduces that to an extent of stopping the menses, and also it is favorable for people who need to avoid estrogen in their system because of one health reason or another. You avoid estrogen. People who have anemia and people who have seizures, those are epileptic people. It is also indicated in those forms. All right, so how does Depo work? Depo works in 3 main ways. It works in other ways, but 3 main ways how Depo works. It hinders maturity of the ova, because you're talking about injections in women. Yeah, so the ova is the egg of a woman, so it hinders its production, and also hinders, if it's produced, it doesn't mature, and you can only ovulate when you have a mature ova, so it cuts off that process. Number 2, Depo works in thinning the endometrial lining of your uterus, the inner lining of the uterus. All right, it impairs the production of cervical mucus, and thus the cervical mucus will be very little or dry or very thick. Okay, so when working like that, it has already captured the whole conception way. I mean, like, you can only get pregnant if your uterus and the ova and the cervical mucus are in good condition. But if they are not in good condition, then fertilization is not going to occur. What do I mean? During copulation, that is during intercourse, the sperm is released from the male and it enters into the female genital organs, that is the vagina, and then into the cervix, and that mucus is key for helping the motility movement of the sperm up the uterus and to the fallopian tube to meet the egg, which has already been released because you've ovulated. All right, so if the mucus is thick, it's going to stop the movement or hinder the movement of the spermatozoa, and if the spermatozoa does not hit the target within 3 days, it means it's going to die off. So it is not going to be viable. All right, So number 2, the thinning, the fact that you have not ovulated because you don't have a mature egg and you do not have a mature follicle, the egg has not been released, fertilization will not occur. The sperm might come in, but it doesn't have anywhere to fertilize. All right. So even if, and number 3, even if we have a fertilized egg, all right, in whichever circumstances the egg was released, wherever there was a fertilization, but where is this egg going to implant? Our uterus doesn't have the ability to hold our pregnancy. So you might have a fertilized egg that doesn't have a fertilized place to stay for 9 months. So it will just come out by itself. Those pregnancies that people lose without even knowing, to just come out as menses, and somebody might not even notice it. So that is how Depo works. All right. So Depo has side effects. From how it works, it has its own side effect. 1, because Depo works by reducing the estrogen level. All right. So when you reduce the estrogen level, estrogen is key in the absorption of bone minerals. All right. So if the bone minerals are not absorbed, it means the bone density, the strength of your bone is going to, the thickness of your bone is going to reduce. All right. And you can imagine this happening to a teenager, a young person who has not attained the right bone density for their age. This person's bone is still growing. So if you give it to a teenager, it means it's going to affect their bone density. And even older adults, women who are already attained their bone density, your nutrients are not being absorbed well. So you might start having issues to do with degeneration of your bone, which is osteoporosis. So you'll start having bone issues. All right. Number 2, Depo is known very well for increasing depression, given that it works on your hormones and it impairs, it reduces the follicle hormones, because there are hormones that are produced when your follicles mature. So if those hormones are not produced, it means that you are going to have you are going to suffer the side effects of those hormones not being produced. And one of them is the feel-good hormone that makes people be high and feel good. So it has a tendency of increasing the level of mental issues, especially stress-related issues. So if you are stressed and you have tendencies of getting depressed, Depo is not for you, because it might trigger the mental issues. Okay. And number 3, Depo, coming back to fertility, is not a joke. Yeah. That one shot of Depo that you can get, it starts working after 7 days. Once it hits your bloodstream, it starts working, and it has already started reducing thinning your endometrium, impairing the maturity of your follicles, and all those things. So if it's working like that, it means returning back to fertility can be an uphill task. So your fertility can regain within 10 to 18 months. And this one, the research has shown, for people who have lean bodies, return to fertility is within 10 to 18 months, you are able to conceive. All right. But for people who have who are big bodied, the BMI is higher, return to fertility can take longer, to up to 10 years. All right. But you will still come back to fertility, because it is not a permanent impairment, not unless you've gotten the shot when you're heading towards your menopause. So you're working again, time is working against you on your fertility cycle. You might end up tagging along with your menopause, and then that will be another story for another day. And also for the young ladies who have never had children, I will strongly discourage you from using Depo. Not unless it's for medical reasons, but for contraceptives, we have way better contraceptives that you can use other than Depo. Those effects can cost you a marriage. They can cost you your personal happiness. When you have that baby fever and you feel like you want to have a child, Depo will tell you, not now. Wait until I decide when the follicles are going to start maturing again, when your endometrial lining is going to thicken again. So, and when your cervical mucus are going to start thinning up or increasing in amount for the whole thing to work. So you need to be very, very cautious when you go the Depo way. So those are 3 major side effects from its own way, how it works. All right. So yeah, I am not for Depo. Yeah, anytime, especially for people who want to have children. When they want to have children, it can limit you on that level. So be very cautious. And I know it is one of the things that many women go for, especially for partners who are not for Depo. If your partner is not for Depo, if your partner is not for contraceptive, this is a way that you do not even have to tell your partner. You just get a shot and life goes on. But this whole thing can come to cost you, yeah, cost you your happiness or cost you your marriage or the whole thing. So let us be very cautious. As much as it has its own positives, the negatives are also evident. So yeah, let's keep safe and be informed. From me, it's bye and see you in the next video.